Namaskar. Today's topic is norm of continuous linear transformation, and as per the syllabus of the this is in the MSc Maths fourth semester and the sixth paper functional analysis. In the previous chapter, we have learned about the continuity of a linear transformation and boundedness, and in this lecture we discuss about the norm of a continuous linear transformation and various properties of the norm and a, the norm linear space that the set of all linear transformation how form a norm linear space. So we revise here first the definition of continuous linear transformation, that a linear transformation from T from n to n dash T continues if if we obtain that as xn tends to x in n implies Txn tends to Tx in the n. So T is a linear transformation from n to n dash, and as xn if we are having two such sequence xn tends to x in n and then Txn tends to Tx in n dash, then we will say that T is a continuous linear transformation. Similar definition for the bounded linear transformation, that this linear transformation T is bounded linear transformation if there exists a real number k greater than 0 such that norm of the Tx is less and equal to k norm x for every x belonging to n. So these two definitions are revised. So now we define the norm of a continuous or bounded linear transformation. Let n and n dash be two norm linear spaces, and let T be n to n dash be continuous linear transformation. Then we define the norm of T is defined by as this one. That norm of the T equal to supremum of the norm of the Tx such that x belongs to n and norm of the x is less and equal to 1. So this is the definition of norm of the continuous linear transformation. Here T is continuous linear transformation, and we define the norm of T as supremum of this set. That norm Tx such that x belongs to n and all for x whose norm is less and equal to 1, and this norm is usually known as operator norm. Next we consider a theorem which will give us the three alternate definition of this operator norm, and we will establish equivalence relation between these three conditions or definition of the norm. Let n and n dash be norm linear space, and let T be a bounded linear transformation of n into n dash, and we put a equal to supremum of the norm Tx such that x belongs to n and norm of x equal to 1. Second, b equal to supremum of the norm Tx upon norm x such that x belongs to n and x is non-zero. And the third one, C equal to infimum K such that K greater and equal to 0 and norm of the Tx is less and equal to K norm x for all x belonging to n. So we are having these three quantities A, B and C, and we relate them with the norm, and we prove in this theorem that norm of the T equal to A equal to B equal to C. So this theorem will give us three alternate definition of this operator norm, and the norm of the Tx is less and equal to norm T norm x for all x belonging to n. So now we prove the equivalence for norm T equal to A equal to B equal to C first. So by definition of the norm, we are having norm T equal to supremum norm Tx such that x belongs to n and norm x is less and equal to 1. And now by definition of C, that norm of the Tx is less and equal to C norm of the x for all x belongs to n, and as norm x, if we take here norm x less and equal to 1, then we obtain that norm of the tx is less and equal to c. Then by using the definition of the norm t, we obtain that if we take the supremum of the set, the supremum norm tx, x belongs to n, and norm x less and equal to 1, this is equal, less and equal to c, and this is the definition of norm of the t. Therefore, we have obtained that norm of the t is less and equal to c. Also, by the definition of b and c, it is clear that c is less and equal to b, because in B we are considering only the elements non-zero, so we obtain that norm of the Tx less and upon norm x equal to norm of the T x upon norm x, and x upon norm x is the norm 1, so we have C is less and equal to B, and hence from the again from definition of the B and A, we obtain that B is less and equal to A, but it is evident that A is the less and equal to norm T. So in this way, we have obtained that norm of the T is less and equal to C, less and equal to B, less and equal to A, less and equal to norm T, and this implies that norm of the T equal to A equal to B equal to C. So in this way, we have established the equivalence of these two conditions or definitions of the A, B, C and norm T. Finally, from the definition of B, we obtain that norm of the Tx upon x is less and equal to B, and this B equal to norm T. Therefore, we obtain that that is norm Tx is less and equal to norm T into norm x. Next, we consider a theorem which will tell us that how the set of all continuous linear transformation is become a norm linear space, and which will complete if the n dash is the complete set. So we obtain the Banach space. This is also an example of Banach space which contain all the continuous linear transformation from n to n dash. Now we have theorem 2. Theorem 2 tells us that let n and n dash be normal linear spaces, then the set B n to n dash of continuous or bounded linear transformation from n into n dash is itself a normal linear space with respect to pointwise linear operations. Here the operations are like this: bracket t plus u x equal to tx plus ux, and a tx equal to a tx. Here a is the scalar quantity and the norm is defined by this one as before. Norm of the t equal to supremum of the norm tx, x belongs to n, and norm of the x is less and equal to 1. And further, if n dash is a Banach space, then Bn n dash is also a Banach space. So we prove theorem here. First we prove that this is a norm linear space, and then second we prove that this is a Banach space or show the completeness of this set. We know that the set of all linear transformation from a linear space into another linear space is itself a linear space with respect to pointwise linear operations. Therefore, it will be sufficient to show that Pn and dash is a subspace of the set of all continuous linear transformation. And for this, we consider that T1 and T2 be arbitrary vector elements of the Bn and dash. And then there exists K1, K2, because these two linear transformation are bounded. So we are able to obtain K1, K2 positive quantity such that norm of the T1x is less and equal to K1 norm x, and norm of the T2x is less than equal to K2 norm x for all x belongings to n. And now we take any two scalars a and b, and we consider the combination of these T1 and T2. That norm of the a T1 plus b T2x equal to a norm of the a T1x plus b T2x, and after simplification we obtain this as norm of the a T1x plus b T2x. So employing the property of the norm, we obtain this as less and equal to a norm of the a T1x plus b T2x norm of the BT2x, and then this, after taking these scalars outside, we obtain this as norm of the A, sorry, modulus of the A into norm T1x plus modulus of the B norm T2x. So this is less and equal to, using the value of these T1x and T2x, we obtain this as less and equal to modulus A K1 norm x plus modulus B K2 norm. And now taking this norm x outside, we obtain this as equal to modulus A K1 plus modulus B K2 into norm x, and this we will denote the quantity of this bracket by K, and we obtain this as K norm x. So in this way we obtain that norm of the A T1 plus B T2x is less and equal to K norm x. So in this way we say we obtained that A T1 plus B T2 is a bounded, and hence A T1 plus B T2 belongs to B, N and S. So this implies that B, N and S is a linear subspace or vector subspace. Now we prove that this B, N and this is a normed linear space. For this we have to prove all the four properties of the norm. So the first property we see here, that norm of the T equal to supremum norm Tx and norm x is less than equal to 1. So as norm is always a positive non-zero quantity, therefore this supremum is also greater and equal to 0, since norm of the Tx is greater and equal. So this is the first one. For the second one, take norm of the T equal to supremum of the norm Tx and norm x less and equal to 1. So we divide here, as in the previous theorem we have seen, taking three quantities ABC, we obtain this as norm Tx upon norm x, x non-equal to 0, and for all x belonging to n. No norm of the T equal to 0 implies and is implies this set definition supremum of this equal to 0. Therefore, this implies and is implies norm of the Tx upon norm x equal to 0, and this implies and is implies norm of the Tx equal to 0 for all x non-zero belongings to n, and therefore T equal to a zero transformation. So we obtain that norm T equal to 0 if and only if T equal to 0. The third condition of this norm, for this we consider norm of the T1 plus T2 equal to supremum of the norm T1 plus T2x, such that x belongings to n and norm of the x is less and equal to 1. So then this is become supremum of the norm T1x plus T2x, such that x belongs to n, norm x less and equal to 1. So now applying the property of the norm inside this set, so we open this bracket and obtain less and equal to supremum norm of the T1x plus norm of the T2x, such that x belongs to n and norm x is less and equal to. So then we open this as supremum of the T1x and plus supremum of the T2x and employ the definition of the norm of the T1 and T2. We obtained this or less and equal to norm of the T1 plus norm of the T2. So this is the triangle inequality for the norm. And the last fourth condition for this, that for any scalar A, we have norm of the AT equal to supremum of the norm ATX, such that x belonging to n and norm of the x is less and equal to 1. This is equal to supremum of the norm ATX, x belongs to n, norm x less and equal to 1. So taking A outside, we obtain this as modulus of the A into norm Tx, and after taking this norm A, modulus A outside this set, we obtain this as modulus of the A norm T. So in this way, we have shown all the four property conditions of the norm. So we can say that B, N and dash is a norm linear space. Now we prove the last part of this theorem, that to show that it is complete, B and dash is complete if N dash is the complete. So we are considering here N dash is a complete or Banach space, and we have to prove that this B and dash is a Banach space. So for this we are considering, let Tn be a Cauchy sequence in B and dash, that is for norm of the Tm minus Tn tends to 0 as Mn tends to infinity. So this is the Cauchy sequence. Norm of the Tm minus Tn tends to 0 as Mn tends to infinity. This we note as equation number. So then for each x belongs to n, we have norm of the Tmx minus Tnx equal to norm of the Tm minus Tnx, and from the property, this is less and equal to norm of the Tm minus Tn norm x. So now as this is tending to 0, therefore this tends to 0. That is, we have obtained, in this way we have obtained Tnx is a Cauchy sequence in n dash. And now as n dash is complete, therefore there exists a vector say Tx in n dash such that Tnx tends to Tx. So this defines a mapping T from n to n dash such that Tx equal to limit n tends to infinity Tnx. Now first we show that this T belongs to P and dash, and for this we have to prove that this is linear. So for we take two elements x1, x2 belonging to n and a, b, b any scalars, then T of the ax1 plus bx2 equal to limit n tends to infinity Tn ax1 plus bx2, and as T is the Tn is linear, therefore we can open this bracket and we obtain limit n tends to infinity a Tn x1 plus b Tn x2, because Tn is linear, and then using the property of the limit, we obtain this as a limit n tends to infinity Tn x1 plus b limit n tends to infinity Tn x2. Then this will become a Tx1 plus btx2. So in this way we obtain that T is a linear. And the second one, for the boundedness or continuity, we consider a norm Tx equal to limit n tends to infinity Tnx, and taking this limit outside, we obtain this as limit n tends to infinity norm of the Tnx, and this is less and equal to limit n tends to infinity norm Tnx, because norm of the Tx is less and equal to T norm x. So in this way we obtain that this is the supremum of the norm Tnx. So this is equal to supremum Tn norm x, and now this is write down this as equation number 2. Now we know that norm modulus of the norm Tm minus norm Tn is less than equal to norm Tm minus Tn tends to 0 by age equation 1. Age Mn tends to infinity by 1. Then this Tn is a norm of the Tn is a Cauchy sequence of real numbers, and so it is convergent and bounded because the set of real number is always complete. So this set of norm Cauchy sequence of norm, we show there exists a k greater and equal to 0 such that supremum of the norm Tn is less and equal to k. Now this is equation 3, and from 2 and 3 we obtained that norm of the Tx is less and equal to k norm x. This showing that T is bounded. So in this way we have proved that T is bounded and linear. Therefore T belongs to Bn and S. So finally we show that Tn tends to T, and for this let epsilon greater than 0 be given. Since norm Tn is a Cauchy sequence, there exists a positive integer m0 such that for all mn greater and equal to here m0, we obtain norm of the Tm minus Tn less than epsilon by 2. And next let x belongs to n be such that norm of the x less and equal to 1. Then since Tnx tends to Tx, we can choose a positive integer mx greater and equal to m0 such that norm of the Tx minus Tmx x is less and equal to epsilon by 2. Hence for all n greater and equal to m0 and norm x less and equal to 1 we have. So the norm Tnx minus Tx, so you can see the calculation here, and finally we obtained this as the less and equal to epsilon. So in this way we obtained that T norm of the Tnx minus Tx less than epsilon, so for all x less and equal to 1, and supremum of this is also less than epsilon, and therefore we obtained that norm Tn minus T is less than epsilon for all n greater and equal to n. So in this way we have shown that Tn is tending to T. So we have shown that Tn tending to T, that is this limit exists Cauchy sequence, a convergent sequence. So in this way we have proved if this is a Cauchy sequence is a convergent sequence, and therefore Bn and S is a complete, and so it is a Banach space. So this theorem has 3 parts, so students can do differently. First part is to prove that this T is bounded norm linear space, then not linear space, and this is the limit complete space. So today we have discussed in this chapter various properties or definition of the norm of continuous linear transformation, and how a set of all continuous linear transformation form a Banach space. For more detail, the students can refer to any reference book. I am Dr. R.P. Somani, Associate Professor. Thank you.